Hello plant friends, hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy out there in real life land. In this episode I am going to talk about 4 ultra expensive plants that I've changed my mind about in the probably last year to 6 months, okay? They're really popular, definitely out of my budget as they are priced now. I'm just going to share about, why I changed my mind, what I changed my mind about, and whether or not I think it's like worth it or sort of not worth it. I feel kind of snooty just talking about these plants, but I'm just going to talk about them anyway. Okay, so first plant I am going to talk about today is the variegated addisoniae, specifically the variegated mint addisoniae. Recently on my road trip to San Diego, I was able to see one in person, like live, and I like it. It was really surprising because honestly, I didn't really even think that the variegated addisoniae was a real thing. I thought it was just like a, sort of like a bad specimen of a regular addisoniae. But seeing it in real life and seeing that, the specimen that I saw was really stable, the variegation was consistent and also widespread, I guess, in the plant. I really liked it. One of the reasons I liked it so much was that I thought that plant sort of overcame what I think is the biggest weakness and the thing that I hate the most about the regular variegated addisoniae, or the albo variegated addisoniae, if that's what you want to call it. And the reason is that, like, in my experience, the regular variegated addisoniae tends to turn all white or all green super often. Like ridiculously, annoyingly, like frustratingly often, right? And so that means that, like, as you're growing your variegated addisoniae, it turns all white, so you have to cut it back, or it turns all green and then you have to cut it back, right? So I've just had to keep cutting back and back my variegated addisoniae, and it's been a super frustrating experience for a plant that, nowadays, people would buy or spend a lot of money to get, right? Like, do you really want to spend a lot of money just so that, like, this thing that you're spending it on just keeps frustrating you? So I think that the mint variegated addisoniae might overcome that. I'm not quite sure. If you have more experience with the mint variegation and you figure that, it does wacky things, definitely comment below. If you own a regular variegated addisoniae and you know what I'm talking about, or you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely comment below as well. But yeah, I saw a real live variegated mint addisoniae, believe it to be a real thing, and I like it. Is it worth it? Is it worth the price tag? Either the mint or the regular variegated one. I'm not sure if I told you guys, or I'm definitely sure I told, like, people I talked to, off camera, is that I really hate it when the plants that grow fast and grow easily have a huge price tag on them, because they grow fast and they grow really easily, right? Just like a regular unvariegated addisoniae. Those of you guys who have that plant or know of people, you guys should know that it's a really fast grower and also very easy to take care of. If anything, you can take a variegated addisoniae, put it in the hands of a new plant parent, and they will likely have good success with that plant, right? It's a super easy grower, the variegated addisoniae. Super easy growers, super fast growers, very similar to their non-variegated counterparts. So yeah, just having a big price tag on easy growing, fast growing plants, yeah, I guess my advice is just sort of wait out the hype, and then wait till the market gets saturated. I think a few months ago, or within the last few months, prices on variegated addisoniae in the US have dropped pretty significantly. And I think that's a reflection of, how fast and how easily it grows, and that lots and lots of people are propagating them and saturating the market. So, right, so I think if you want one, just keep waiting. There are plenty of other variegated plants, and also plenty of other really pretty plants out there for you guys to get and satisfy your plant cravings, in the meanwhile. Okay, all right, that's all I'm going to say about the variegated addisoniae. The next plant I'm going to talk about are what I'm going to call designer pothos. Right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I think that like there's a Gabby out there, there's a Barbara. There's like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like the one I have back there, it is not a designer pothos. It is a regular pothos that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's, right? Like $5, $10 for a basket or whatever. There are designer pothos out there that are rare. They have different patterns, stripes. Some have extra stripes, some have like different colored stripes. I'm just gonna call them designer pothos. And 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 what I changed my mind about is that I used to see them on like Facebook, on Instagram, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like looking at my Brazil up there, and I'm like, kind of looks the same. Yeah, it kind of just looks very, very similar. And then I got to see them in real life. I got to see one in real life, or two, or something like that, and they look good. Like it's like they look good. So I feel like comparing a regular pothos and then a designer pothos is like comparing, like, I don't know, like a regular purse versus a Gucci or what's good, like Louis Vuitton or whatever, right? Or I don't know, a cheap car versus a really nice looking car or something like that, right? Yeah, designer pothos, they look good. That's all I can say. They look good. Are they worth the current price tags? Again, same argument I have with the variegated addisoniae. Fast, aggressive, easy growers, wait it out, right? I don't have any of the designer pothos in my collection. I can't afford them, and I can't really justify myself affording them. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait it out till they really saturate the market, and I can buy like a nice big basket of them, and they look good. They look good. Okay, guys, so before I continue, first I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me and helping this channel continue. And then also, I want to support the sponsor of this episode, which is Skillshare. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for curious and creative people, anywhere from photography to illustration. So this is what the Skillshare website sort of looks like. On this side here, there are a few categories: film and video, especially really cool if you're thinking about doing short clips on YouTube or TikTok or basically any other sort of social media. Photography, I'm especially interested in because my Instagram game is very weak. So when I looked at photography, look at the first thing that came up. Plant photography. Take better photos at home for Instagram. Okay, if this isn't applicable for us, I really don't know what is. So this plant photography, take better photos at home for Instagram, is by Tabitha Park, who is a products and food photographer. Okay, so let's click on this and see what happens, right? And this brings you to the main page for this class. On this side, you see that it's split up into some topics. Usually I would say more than usually, always the teacher is always very, very well animated. Great interface, very, very easy and intuitive. And then they talk about, what this class is about, some reviews, some other stuff. So yeah, very, very easy. Definitely a great learning tool. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning. So there's no ads, lots of videos, lots of new courses. So I'm going to post a link in the description, and the first 1,000 people to use this link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Third plant I'm going to talk about are sports monsteras, or variegated monstera sports. Okay, sports monsteras. You guys know what I'm talking about. Baseline, I like variegated sports monsteras. I think sports are kind of like the coolest of the variegated monsteras. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to set that as a baseline. But given how expensive sports are, right, this is what I'm changing my mind about, is that I love sports, but I think that most sports are not worth it. Okay, like they're not worth their expensive price tag. There are, though, however, sports that are just like WTF, wow, that is sick, right? Like that is an amazing sport. So those sports I feel are potentially worth it, right? And the sports that I feel like are worth it or WTF are the ones that look extremely or significantly or convincingly different from the other variegated monsteras that you can find at market, right? Or more easily available, right? Like the Thai constellations, the variegated, the albos, and what's the other one? The arias, right? Right. If you find a sport that looks significantly and convincingly different from the regular variegated monsteras that you can more easily find, then that plant might be worth it. At least to me. To me, I feel like that plant might be worth the elevated price tag, right? Um, but I feel like there's a lot of sports that look very similar to Thai constellations or to albos or to arias, right? And and if they look really, really similar, is it worth the price tag? To me, it's not. To you guys, maybe it is. Some of you guys may be, huge sports collectors, and that's like your jam, right? Then yes, go wild, right? But I think for the average enthusiast, the average collector, like having a sport that looks very, very similar, if not identical to some of the other, more easily available and much, much cheaper variegated monsteras, that might not be worth it. So that's a plant that I've sort of like changed my mind about. I love all sports. I think that they probably should be priced at a higher price point than the more easily accessible variegated monsteras. But I feel like now they're sort of like priced 2 or 3 price points higher. And I think that's, for me, only justifiable if you find one that's just like blows your mind about how different or how unique it is. Okay, I hope that made sense. Okay. The third plant I'm going to talk about, fourth plant now, right? The fourth plant I'm going to talk about, which may ruffle some feathers or so, variegated tetrasperma. Variegated tetrasperma seems to be like the new super hot kid on the block. I think that for people who have been in the hobby when the variegated addisoniae, were first like popping up, it's sort of the same hype, except that, well, I guess now that the plant craze and the plant hobby has like elevated to new heights, this is even bigger, or it's like even bigger hype just because more people are hyping in. Okay, all right, you guys know what I'm talking about. So the variegated tetrasperma, I love it. I like it. Okay, I don't know if I love it, but I like it. Beautiful. Is it that much different from like a variegated addisoniae, a Monstera albo in terms of aesthetics? I don't know. But the price point is just redonkulous right now. It's just so expensive. Wow, like it is such an expensive plant. The variegated addisoniae for back then when it first came out and stuff was also extremely, extremely expensive. Now that plant prices are just through the roof for every plant or every popular plant, variegated tetrasperma is just absolutely insane. But the variegated tetrasperma, also in the same line as the variegated addisoniae, as these designer pothos, right, are basically any other plant that is easy growing, fast growing. The price point is ridiculous. I get the price point in terms of rarity, and if you want to be one of the hip kids or adults or whatever that wants to buy it and get it and proliferate it and make your money back selling cuttings and stuff, probably quite a very good investment. But man, it is so expensive. So I like it, but too expensive. That's like 4 twos. TWTOO expensive. That's a lot of expensive. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for hearing me rant on camera. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like, subscribe, do all the other stuff. If you really like, I have a Patreon if you want to support me and my ranting. That's it for this episode. Till next time. Happy planting.